John Milton peered through the rain that hammered on the windshield, trying to pick a path that would spare the car the deepest of the potholes that disfigured the muddy track. He had been driving for 6 hours, the headlamps on all the way, initially caught up in the throng of traffic as people sought to escape the city. Then he had been slowed by the terrain, the visibility, and his lack of familiarity with his surroundings. He rolled past a fork in the road, slowed, and parked the rental on the margin of the road. It wasn't much more than a backwards track by this stage, cutting between groves of cypress trees that were garlanded in Spanish moss, heading straight into the heart of the bayou. His directions told him to look for a big red maple tree. Milton saw it just off the road. He had been in New Orleans for a week, arriving just as the meteorologists had given Katrina her name and warned the city that she was headed straight for it. People had initially laughed it off, and Milton had overheard plenty suggesting that this would be no different than any of the other storms that made landfall here. But then the forecasters had become more and more apocalyptic, upgrading Katrina all the way to a Category 5 storm and warning that she could be the big one. The mayor and the governor had issued mandatory evacuation warnings, and people had started to listen. It had been bumper-to-bumper gridlock until he was out past Norco, and even then, the roads had only started to flow easily when he exited at La Place and made his way into the swamp. Milton had been in hurricanes like this one before, and he knew what they could do. Some people still refused to evacuate, telling newscasters proudly that they weren't going to be chased out of their homes, and Milton had looked at them and shaken his head at their blasé stupidity. He would have evacuated if he had been given the choice. But his target was one of those stubborn-headed locals, and because of that, he had to stay too.